Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host, and today I am at iConquer Fitness Center with Mr. Parnell Splack Williams. Welcome, Splack, or should I call you Parnell?
Either one is fine. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me here. So, from Miami,
Miami, Florida.
came here to attend the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
FAMU, that's it.
Yes, to study what?
I started out with criminal justice.
Okay. All right, good deal.
You know, typical Miami.
Uh-huh.
Miami kid, want to make a difference. Didn't like how the community was growing up, so criminal justice was my thing. End goal was to be a U.S. Marshal.
Really?
I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal.
Okay. And what year did you come here?
2003.
All right.
2003.
And was in the band?
I was in the Marshal 100, played French horn. But that's not what really brought me to FAMU.
What brought you to FAMU?
Oh, my wife gonna kill me. I came here to be a striker.
A striker.
Came here to be a striker, be a part of the Strikers Dance Troupe under our founder, Mr. Shapiro Hardiman.
Yes.
Yep, that was my road to Tallahassee was beeline to be a striker.
Okay.
But you know, the 100 and everything definitely played a big part of it. I was in the marching band at Miami Central Senior High School. I was a drum major there. So music was always a passion of mine, and performing was always a passion. So the Marching 100 was like the stamp on it. But, you know, if I wasn't a music major, I didn't plan on playing an instrument for the rest of my life. So, but I also, you know, wanted to make sure whatever I did, I was gonna be happy doing. And you can't take the dancing from me. And the Strikers was like, I mean, where else you gonna go? You know, they don't got the Strikers at Miami-Dade.
No, they don't. Or FIU.
Or nowhere.
Or UM.
UM, nowhere.
No.
Yes, right here at FAMU. So,
Yes.
yep, that's where my heart led me right into.
Okay.
Thankfully, I made it, because if I didn't make it,
That would have been an awful thing.
yeah, it would have been a different type of situation.
It would have
right
been
here.
a different type of situation, but clearly dance has been something that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes, it is.
And I know Shapiro very well. He's also been on the show.
Right. I
And-
saw it. That was for the 30th anniversary. Yeah.
Right,
That was
right.
a great show. I really appreciated that show.
Absolutely. So, came here to FAMU, you know, criminal justice, but transitioned into what?
So, a couple things transpired like during my time at FAMU. I ended up getting like different job offers for police departments. One of them in particular was in Atlanta, and I said, "Oh, great, it's Atlanta." So this, I want to say, it was about 2007. So it's like right around time to get ready to graduate, you know, from school and stuff like that. And like, might as well just jump right in. And they denied me. So I was making trips from Tallahassee to Atlanta, back to Tallahassee, Atlanta, trying to get on this police department, and they denied me because of my hearing. So a lot of people don't know I'm completely deaf in my right ear.
Okay.
Lost hearing when I was 3 years old to meningitis. Went lay down at daycare one day, went to sleep, didn't wake up. Mom had to have them, you know, rush me to the hospital and everything. And some of the side effects from meningitis is that it targets the brain, so it starts to deteriorate stuff as it goes. Well, it got to my memory and it got to my hearing.
Wow.
So at 3 years old, I had to learn who my mom was all over again, my dad, and these are like stories that's been told to me, from family members, and they, you just kind of piece them all together, and it's like, this was what it was. So, but yeah, it was, I felt like God knew back then what I was going to try to make myself do in my life. And I might have to just stop him way back here before he even get to that point. But I got there, and my pastor at the time, rest his soul, was Cyrus Flanagan at Family Worship and Praise Center, where now Pastor Quincy Griffin, that's my big brother, he's a pastor now. But when Reverend Flanagan was the pastor, he had a dream that I was in a police uniform, hadn't told him anything about me wanting to be a police officer or anything. He had a dream that I was in a police uniform. On my first day on the job, I got shot. And so he said it, and it was crazy because when he said it, my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, she was in the pews. He said, "Oh my God!" She was screaming out for God to change the situation. And but Reverend Flanagan was one that never taught us. He didn't want us to fear anything, so he said, "I'm not telling you this so you be scared, but pursue it. But always watch and pray. Don't pray and watch. Watch and pray."
Watch and pray.
And I said, "Okay," but it just felt from that moment, I think that was one of those times God was like really, really, really dealing with me, and it just felt like it was wrong. And so I remember telling everybody about that job opportunity, but I was taking so much credit for it. It's like, I worked out, I got this to do this, I got this to do that, I got them to see this, and I told them this, and I wowed them on this, and it was all about me. And I never was giving God any of the glory for it.
Praise.
And he really didn't want me to go that route, and so I know that now. But got there, they said, I passed everything, flying colors, all the tests and everything, and they said, all right, all you gotta do is pass this physical. I said, "Oh, it's physical. I'm healthy," and got down to the hearing. And they played a little sound, and it was like, boop, boop. And they was waiting for a while, and nothing. They were like, "You didn't hear that?" I was like, "Oh, no." And they was like, "We'll try it again." And then they just kept going, and they was like, "You can't hear it at all." I was like, "No, hearing aid won't help?" Nope. I said, "You gotta have like something in there to go off of it." But like I said, I was still pursuing it, even though the signs was telling me not to do it, and I just wanted to do it. So ended up booting me right back to Tallahassee.
Okay.
And when I got back to Tallahassee, I ended up going to my pastor and saying that was it. That was all my eggs in the basket. I came to schools to do that, so if they're telling me no on this level,
then what am I supposed to do?
What I'm supposed to do when I try to go up higher? And everybody was saying, "Oh, you could fight that and stuff." And I said, "But I don't want to. I feel like it would be too strenuous. Like it's supposed to be easy. Well, not easy, but a little bit simpler." And it just wasn't lining up. So I said, "You know what? I gotta do something else." Told my pastor, Rev, I gotta do something. I'm about to marry this woman. I already told her dad I'm gonna take care of her, and here I come back and like no career really set up. And God said, he told Pastor Flanagan, I just need to take 3 things that I love, put it together, and start a business. Flat out like that.
And what were the 3 things?
I've always been a leader. So motivating people was my niche. Like as a drum major, I can motivate people to get out there and give it their best and everything. At the time I was a DJ, and I loved putting music together and different things like that. And the last thing was I liked working out, And so it's like music, motivational, like working out, threw it all together, and I started Flex and Twerk.
Flex and Twerk. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah. So it was Flex and Twerk that kind of started everything. I was doing all my own mixes and all my own routines, and this is stuff I learned being a striker and stuff like that. So it just brought it all together. And from there, one of my clients that was in the class was just like, I like your energy. I like how you do things. You ever thought about personal training? And I'm just like, not really. So, but then I took a swing at it, got certified, and just transferred everything that I learned, all from the different people that's been like my mentors and stuff, and threw it all together.
Okay.
And made Splack Fitness at the time.
Splack Fitness.
That's what Splack Fitness.
So that's how it all began.
That's it.
Now talk to me about the name Splack.
So Splack. Well, the strikers have a chant that we do, and at the end of it says everybody do this, and then we do our hand sign Splack Splack. So when I was DJing, it was like I would DJ striker parties and stuff like that, or little small functions here and there. And then one time we was there just DJing, and a guy came up to me, he grabbed the mic, and he's like a big time, like, they call him mic checker. So he's like, while I'm mixing and stuff, he's, getting the crowd hype. And he's like, hey man, what they call you? And I'm just like, I don't have a DJ name. Like, and he was like, what y'all be saying? I said, oh, Splack. And he was like, hey, yeah, one time for DJ Splack.
And then there you go.
And then once I started training, I just dropped the DJ.
Made it multifunctional, huh?
That's it, man. And then I always I felt like it was a way to have something for the upcoming strikers. If they ever wanted to come be a part of the company, it would just kind of be like a smooth transition for them to be a part of Splack Fitness.
Okay, very good, very good. Quite identifiable too. All right, well, we're gonna take a break right here, but when we come back, I wanna hear more about iConquer and Mr. Parnell.
All right.
All right.
You good.
Stay tuned for more conversations.
Conversations with Nicole.
If you know me, you know I'm a TV freak. I watch television all the time. And when I think about the number 10, the first thing that comes to mind is the Family Feud, because there's always questions about rating your answer on a scale of 1 to 10. But I gotta tell you, 10 is always on top of 1 to 10. It's a major milestone. Now, for wedding anniversaries, they acknowledge it with wood. But I think in terms of conversations with Nicole, we have reached a golden moment. It's the 10th season of Conversations with Nicole. I like that.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about let's talk about Conversations with Nicole.
My father grew up in Tallahassee in the Frenchtown community. He started as a professor at Florida State University, and he always thought that I would be a lawyer because I was so argumentative growing up. And I thought maybe I would be a patent lawyer after I became an engineer. So I did a couple of internships at NASA, and I just didn't get the passion, I didn't get the thrill. I wasn't dealing with people one-on-one directly, so that's what I started focusing my path more towards law. There were a lot of challenges in, I wouldn't say in opening a firm, but just being in business. They teach you in law school how to practice law, they don't teach you how to run a business. So everything was kind of learn as you go. But I was able to create my own brand and do things the way I wanted to do things. We're really, really of the community. It's not just a branding type idea. We're physically in the community, and the work that we do is for the community. If there are meetings, we're at the meetings. If there's an issue in the community, we're frontline dealing with those issues because we really do care. My dad also has an office down the street that's still in Frenchtown, and he always thought it was important for us to stay in our community because we can't complain about it. We can't complain about gentrification or anything else that's happening if we're the ones that's moving out or not reinvesting back in the community. I decided to do criminal defense after I did a couple of internships at the public defender's office. I saw everybody that were in shackles, that were defendants, they looked like me. I saw everybody who was prosecuting and who were the judges and who were the officers that didn't look like me. And so I wanted to help out those people that look like me, and it's my job to force that burden of proof, to make sure that the state attorney is doing their job, to make sure that law enforcement is doing their job. Because if they don't, then innocent people will be going to prison a lot more. Personal injury law is one of those things where you can get somebody that's just feel like their life is over because of a car accident, or their life is over because of a situation where a family member is killed or hurt really bad because somebody else did something wrong. For the family, it's not about money, it's not about, just being compensated, it's about being whole again. Really just giving that compassion to people and just helping them get back on their feet when they face a bad situation. I could not have written my path, I'll say that. I never planned on opening my own practice as soon as I did. I never planned on moving back to Tallahassee, but everything worked out and it worked out perfectly. So it's a different path than I think I would have written, but I have no complaints about where I am now.
I'm Barbie Moro with Red Eye Coffee. Join me with Conversations with Nicole on the Greater Works Network.
Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you are just joining me, I am here with the founder, CEO of iConquer, Mr. Parnell Splack Williams. So Parnell, before the break, you were telling me about Splack Fitness and now iConquer. So I was at the grand opening of iConquer back in September 2019.
Right.
What a grand opening. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was great. I had been in so many different gyms around the city at Splack Fitness, and it was almost every place that I went had like a roadblock, and like I couldn't grow anymore. And so when that tired out, I would take a step back and then reevaluate it, try to go to another spot. And but then I got to a point to where I was trying to break the fear of like stepping out and getting my own spot. And God forced me into my garage. I was training out of my garage in my home. And I said, man, you know what? Let me just go ahead and put my foot to the pedal and just take my hands off, let Jesus do the driving.
Okay.
And it led us right to the warehouse. And I mean, it was, at that point, I felt like I was a conqueror. And it's kind of like iPhone, I do this, I that, and it's like
I was wondering about that.
It was a sense of like me.
Okay.
I conquer. Like I want to conquer my fitness goal. I want to conquer my dream. That type of thing. So I felt like it was a name that was stamped more on clients to do more than Splack Fitness. Because when you think of like any other like franchise gym, you can just say I'm a member of that, but to hear somebody say, "Oh, where you work out at?" "Oh, iConquer." And they say that every time.
Gotcha.
iConquer.
Gotcha.
But the grand opening was so amazing. It was overwhelming. I was happy to see you there. I was like, "Oh, Mama, I made it!"
Oh, please.
Nicole is here.
But you had a lot of good turnout from the strikers, band members, community folks, family. Yeah. So
support.
A number of different classes that you were offering there as well. So
it was definitely it was a blessing. I can't say that, and to be able to do that in the community that it was in was just even more. It's like one of those things is just a ray of light, and I was just a part of being glad to be a part of that light that kind of shined in the city. Yeah.
I noticed that there were a number of black trainers there, Tallahassee trainers there to support as well, or maybe to spy. I don't know. Yeah, I threw that
I mean,
out
either
there.
way, there is, but I there has been like I don't know, it just sprouted up. Like everybody just became a trainer all of a sudden, like in the city. And but to see those guys there that supported me, they've been kind of around since the beginning of my journey and stuff like that. And just for everybody to set aside the competition and just say, let me support another successful Black person that's opening up a building, opening up a gym, opening up, it was kind of heartwarming to see them there.
That is. So speaking of which, do you think that the market is oversaturated with trainers, or do you think there's room for more?
The market is oversaturated with people who believe they're trainers.
I like how you put that.
And I made a post not too long ago on Facebook, and I said, I finally mastered how to give my kids the proper doses of certain medicine. I'm a pharmacist now.
Oh.
And and I said, well, you guys see how funny that sounds? And I said, if you figured out how to lose a couple pounds on your own, that doesn't give you the key to helping somebody else do the same thing.
Right.
And so what we do as trainers, and I call myself a trainer, I never really call myself a fitness trainer. I call myself a trainer. And because I have so many different clients that come to me, and fitness is the last thing that's on their plate. You know what I mean? Most of it is mental, most of it is spiritual, and it's like the physical part is just something that they're able to tie down that's kind of like makes it an anchor for them to have to come to something positive every single day, day in, day out, and week in and week out. So yeah, I just think that once people realize that they can move a little bit, and then they see that it's an opportunity to make money, it's like, oh yeah, let me slap that title, and I'm like, oh yeah, check off something else. If you're a nutritionist, be good at being a nutritionist.
Right.
If you're great at doing health consulting and letting people know the type of things they should be doing, do that. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not a nutritionist. I can give you some ideas of what you can do to help lose weight and stuff, but I myself am not a nutritionist, and I wouldn't claim to be. I would stay in my lane, but I would make sure that I send you to the proper person that's become a nutritionist, or that is a nutritionist to help you become better with your nutrition.
Right. But because that also coincides with the fitness.
Exactly. And that way we all can eat and all can help each other and all can build a better community or a better world, really. But it's kind of like everybody have to find whatever it is that God has for them.
Absolutely.
Now I might be wrong. God might just want everybody to be a trainer. I'll just so if that's what the case is, Lord forgive me. But right now I need you to even this thing back out.
I understand. So let me circle back. So 2019.
Right. Grand opening. September.
March 2020.
Shut everything down.
What happened?
Prior to...
Because you're doing this full time.
Yeah, this is it.
Right.
This is it. This is it. This is bread and butter, bacon, everything in between. Prior to the shutdown, because of COVID-19, I was already doing virtual training. Because I was just, I have clients that lived here for 4 years and then they move off to their different various cities, do their careers, and they don't want to leave their trainer, because I'm,
so
a part of their life.
Right, so you wanted to give them an option.
Right, so I wanted to make sure they still was able to, check in with me and stuff like that. So COVID-19 just kind of pushed me into doing it a little bit more than I really wanted it to, and but, that can only go so far because, you still got an overhead, you still got utilities, you still got all these different things that bills are still gonna come.
Right.
And on top of that, that's just what I was using to support my family, my wife, my 3 boys, and the 3 boys is eat. So money gotta stay coming in. But when it shut down, I definitely had some moments where I was scratching my head and just like, which way should I move? And by it happening so quick, I didn't really get in good with a flow with, owning my own build or running my own building and gym. And so yeah, it was definitely a eye-opening situation. I was like, wow, this is what other CEOs and stuff like have to possibly deal with. So I couldn't even imagine being a Fortune 500 company and everything just kind of
Right.
going down.
With
So,
lots of employees
yes.
and tough decisions that have to be made.
thank God it was just me at the time.
All right.
But I'm a survivor. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm from
Indeed.
Liberty City, to be
Indeed.
exact.
Yeah,
And
Liberty City.
they raised us a certain way down
They
there.
sure do. They sure do. So let's also fast forward to just 2020. Also the systemic racism, the social unrest, the murder of George Floyd, the heightened awareness of systemic racism in non-blacks,
Right.
recognizing how Black Americans are living day to day. What impact did that make on you?
It impacted me majorly, but not so much directly, but more so because of my kids. You know what I mean? And I love, when I say I love my boys, I love my boys. Parnell Jr., Jacoby, and Jackson, they're like, sometimes I have to remind myself that, I belong to the clients too, because my goal is to always just make sure whatever I'm doing going to help them have a better life, build a better world. And to see the things like that was happening with like George Floyd, it's just like that was somebody's son. You know what I mean? That's somebody's father. That's somebody's brother. And it could be anybody. And that, my son is 10. You know what I mean? I remember hearing about Rodney King. But when I got older, my parents had to like give me a little bit more of like details of what was going on, because at the time all I used to see is riots and stuff like that. So now I kind of have to do the same thing with him, because he just wants to know, why are they burning this down, or why are they doing this, or why are they turning it over, and to have to let him see what led to those things, is kind of, put a little damp in like to what he thought the police was supposed to do, or things that are supposed to protect him and help him. It's just like, man, I'm talking about my oldest son. The other two, they
Right. But no, as a 10-year-old, I mean, those are tough conversations to have.
right, and I think that's the impact. That's what impacted the most to me, is just that all of the questions that he had, and that I really wasn't ready to answer, but I knew I needed to answer. And it was just like, one day it was this, and then we kind of get over that hurdle, and then next day it's like a whole other situation, and it's like, well, then why are they doing that to this group of people? Why didn't it's like, it's almost like never ending now. So.
Yeah, that's tough. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to a point that you made earlier about being a trainer, and that it's not only physical, but it's emotional, it's psychological. And, I consider trainers, coaches, heck, barbers and beauticians for that matter, to be shade tree counselors and therapists. That's
Right.
what I call y'all. Because you are in a trusted position. You see clients, maybe once a week, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. And you can tell when something isn't quite right with them. They're a little off, or,
Right.
Something is bothering them. And heck, because they trust you, they
Open up
and share some of their experiences with you.
Right.
Now you are put in a position of, you just want to show them how to tone up, or, lose some weight or whatever, but now you happen to be their counselor. So, mental health is, my point is, mental health is very important.
Right,
And
absolutely. Yeah, a lot of my clients that come to me, the first thing I tell them is, I don't keep nothing from my wife. So what you share with me, she gonna know. And a lot of them, I'll probably say like 99.98% of them, they're usually fine with it. Because I talk about my wife all the time, Deanne. To them, they just like, they know my wife. They can see a mile away. They just know it's her. You know what I mean? Because just I'm always, praising her and talking about her. God blessed me with her, so I should.
Absolutely.
But, she hears it all. Because and I literally have to like come home, and after we get the boys settled and ready for the next day, I just unload. And I just unloaded it. Sometimes she just have to put a hand on me, and she's like, "You just gotta remember, you're not God."
Indeed.
But you're right. Like the amount of confidence that these clients should have with you, you know, to be able to do those things. Us as trainers, as life coaches and stuff like that, we're put in those positions to make people's lives better. And when I say, I can tell you that not a day go by that I don't have to sit down and pray real quick before I have to deal with a client, because I mean, I want to make sure whatever I'm telling them lines up with what God has, you know, his words, you know what I mean? So I ask him to use me as a vessel before I go in and part the, you know, to part that with him. But man, it's if these walls can talk, it's like, it'll tell you a whole lot. But we have a hurting community right now, and then I think a lot of things are just kind of like transferring over from, you know, what's going on in the next person's life to affecting this person, and then that person's life and affecting the next person. And I just want everybody to just kind of be mellow and peaceful. So I try to help everybody as much as I can. But through fitness, you know, fitness is one of the ways that they can release, you know, all the some of the ones who are dealing with anger issues and stuff like that, or something they might be upset about. It's a place to go, you know. And then if some who's actually hurting, you know, this is a place that they can get away from whatever's bothering outside the doors. And I have clients who come in and work out, and they'll stay here for 2 hours after the workout, just because this is their place of peace.
They just need that time and that space and that place.
And I thank God that I'm able to offer that to them.
Absolutely.
You know, provide that.
Absolutely. Now, you've been in this new place since January. Yes. And since things have opened up, I know your clients are appreciative of being able to come back.
They've been ready to come back.
All right. Now, tell me a little bit about some of your offerings.
Okay, so right now I have the Conquer Camp. The Conquer Camp is boot camp style class. It changes up so many times. One day we might be just straight weight loss. Another day we might be toning muscles up. Another day we might be in here just straight stretching, you know. So Conquer Camp is just conquering any and all different types of styles of fitness. And then I have my flex and twerk class. I can't get rid of that. The flex and twerk is a high intensity cardio class. It's dancing. Twerking is a workout. You know?
Twerking is a workout. I have not been, but I'm coming to that twerk class.
Come on, you will not be disappointed. And even with that, like I have a new instructor that's been working on developing routines and stuff for that class.
Okay.
Some of the other things that I'm offering is personal training, of course, and I have some small group sessions going on. So we got some step classes coming up in the near future.
Good deal.
I got some other things that I want to, like, you know.
All right, that's fine. Well, you don't have to share it now, but they need to check in and find out what's going on.
When they see it, it's going to be one of those things that hit the city. And
okay, good deal. Glad to hear that.
The next flex and twerk.
All right, glad to hear that. And you still doing virtual classes?
I am still doing virtual training, mostly one-on-one, and because it's a lot easier to keep people committed. But in the summertime, we will be back open and doing actual, like, full-time virtual classes, because the teachers, they get to be home and away from the kids and
exactly,
stuff. So.
Exactly.
So,
okay. And then my final question is, what do you believe is your greater work?
My greatest work?
Your greater work.
My family.
Your family?
My family.
Okay.
My family. I to be honest, I've always viewed myself as a family. You know, I always see myself as a husband, as a father, things like that. And all of the things that I do outside of my home have a great reflection of, like, what happens in my house. And, you know, without my wife, Deanne, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do none of this stuff. Like, you know, it's a blessing. Like, I don't get, I get to come home and she just lets me unload on her. And so seeing her, you know, that was the first thing, you know, just, I got a wife. Like, is she fine? You know, it was like, and then we were able to create these 3 boys, you know, together. And I look at them and their personalities and the way they grow and the way they humble me, you know, those type of things. Just like, just our little circle, you know what I mean? It's just like, I sit back and I just look at it like, yeah, I did that.
That's a beautiful thing.
I did that.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, thank you so much for taking time to share with me today and allowing me to visit you in your new space.
I appreciate you coming.
Yes, yes, and continue doing your greater work in iConquer. All right, and thank you for joining us on Conversations with Nicole, where we are connecting the community through conversations. We'll see you next time.